On the island of Newfoundland, upon the southwest coast, lies the little town of Virgil, to whom I'll sing this toast. There are so many highlands that lie just off her shore, and when the cold north wind blows, you can hear the billows roar. The people from the village make their living from the sea. They like their independence. It shows that they are free. Some fish in their small boats in the wind, the rain and sleet, while others make their living on the offshore trawler fleet. They've known their share of tragedies down through the years, and when the memories overcome, they show their grief with tears. For they have lost some loved ones to the furies of the seas, for heartaches and heartbreaks are locked in memories. This village, it's got beauty carved on its rugged shore. 7 miles of pure white sand, who could ask for more? The mountains and the valleys, where the rivers run so fast, and the salmon rise to the sportsman's fly as he makes another cast. Tell the people of this village love their native home, for anyone who goes away most surely will return. Just like that lifelong mystery, the answer you won't know. What makes this rugged village burn so deeply in your soul? What makes this rugged village burn so deeply in your soul?
Good evening, and welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight in our stories we have Valentine's party at the hospital, vehicle accident, Valentine balloons, our MHA. Please stay tuned for these stories after this. Try Your Luck and Play TV Bingo, sponsored by the Sea Cadets. Cards are 6 for $5 and can be bought from any member of the Cadets or in most stores around town. The ACW and Altar Guild visit the residents of the Carter Health Care Center on Tuesday and held a Valentine's party for them. There was music for them, which was provided by Travis Dufford, Levi Rose, and George Anderson.
Fancy brings the thought to find a flower that's bright and fair. Its grace and beauty both combine, the brighter dew more rare. Just like a maiden that I know once shared my happy life. She whispered when we parted last, "Oh, you forget me not." She's graceful and she's charming like the lilies in the pond. Time is flying swiftly by, of her I am so fond. The roses and the daisies are blooming around the spot where we parted when she whispered, "You forget me now." He meant, "I really don't know where, but still it's just the same." For love grows in the city streets as well as in the lane. I gently touched her tiny hand, one glance at me she shot. She dropped her flower, I picked it up, was a sweet forget-me-not. She's graceful and she's charming like the lily in the pond. Time is flying swiftly by, of her I am so fond. The roses and the daisies were blooming around the spot where we parted when she whispered, "You forget me not." And then there came a happy time when something that I said caused her lips to murmur yes, and surely we were wed. There is a house down in the lane in a tiny garden plot where grows a flower, I know it well, it's a sweet forget-me-not. She's graceful and she's charming like the lily in the pond. Time is flying swiftly by, of her I am so fond. The roses and the daisies were blooming around the spot where we parted when she whispered, "You forget me not." Where we parted when she whispered, "You forget me not." God, cake to carry a plate, cake and tea for supper. Now fishing the spring of the year, fried and riggedy butter. Eyes that buy the bills of both, eyes that buy the sails, her eyes that buy the invitation, bring them on the liner. I could line her to his hands as fast as she could travel, and every step the liner took up her easy gravel. Eyes that buy the bills of gold, eyes that buy the sails, her eyes that buy the anticipation, brings them on the liner. Well, if your partner says you pull, if your partner says around, pull the boogie boards and cover all around the circle. Eyes that buy the bills of gold, eyes that buy the sails, her eyes that buy the anticipation, brings them on the liner. One more. Well, eyes that buy the bills of gold, eyes that buy the sails, her eyes that buy the anticipation, brings them on the liner. Eyes that buy the bills of gold, eyes that buy the sails, her eyes that buy the anticipation, brings them on the liner. Eyes there was moonlight and a rose in her hair. In her heart there was no one, so I put her there. On my mind was a vision, on my lips was a prayer. When I finally went, I went home with the scent of the rose in her hair. In her face there was beauty, a picture to see. In my arms there was someone she loved more than me. Her mind was a vision, so lifelike and clear. When I finally went, I went home with the scent of the rose in her hair. and then I awakened. It was only a dream. But she lay there beside me, so gently asleep. As I kissed her in slumber, I whispered a prayer and peacefully went back to sleep with the scent of the rose in her hair. As I kissed her in slumber, I whispered a prayer and peacefully went back to sleep with the scent of the rose in her hair.
A king and queen was crowned. First was the queen, and it was Clara Kendall. The king was Ari Ingram. They shared a dance.
In an Irish country home, one evening long ago, sat an old man and his little daughter knew. Said the girl with Irish glee, as she played on Papa's knee, "You promised me a story you would tell. Come tell me of the past, my mother dear," she asked. "Come tell me how she used to look just right, and to kneel the old man's chest, and he slowly bent his head. Tears were in his eyes when he replied, she was sweeter than the blossoms on the clover. She was fairer than the evening sunset glow. I never will forget how much I loved her. When your mother took my name long, long ago. We were married, she and I, and in every way we tried to make our home a home of happiness. No bright September morning, on the day that you were born, God took her to a brighter home above. She was sweeter than the blossoms on the clover. She was fairer than the evening sunset glow. I never will forget how much I love her. When your mother took my name long, long ago. In an Irish country home, one evening long ago, sat an old man and his little daughter knew. For the best of friends must die, she was dearer to my heart. For your mother was the only one I loved. She was sweeter than the blossoms on the clover. She was fairer than the evening sunset glow. And I never will forget how much I love her. When your mother took my name long, long ago. When your mother took my name long, long ago.
A motor vehicle accident happened on Monday where a car had crashed into a light pole in the Missers area. 3 young males were in the vehicle. No one was hurt, but one suffered a bruised leg. The vehicle was coming from the Missers area around 11 a.m. and lost control taking the turn. Road conditions were slippery at the time. The damage to the vehicle was extensive and 2 airbags deployed. No charges will be laid. The RCMP would like to remind everyone to slow down during winter driving, especially around blind turns. The Girl Guide balloons were a huge success again this year. A total of 3,272 balloons were sold. The guiding leaders and volunteers were at the parish hall on Friday to put it all together. Dave McDowell wanted to make internet users aware of a new update that Microsoft has out to remove malicious software from your computer.
In January of 2009, Microsoft came out with a new software removal tool. Like a lot of people around here use Spybot and adware and things like that to clean up their computers. But if you did your Windows updates in January, so you have all your Windows updates done, then you have a legitimate copy of Windows XP, and I think it works for Windows Vista as well. That there's a new tool that you can access on your computer to clean it up, and it seems to work really well. If you click on Start, Run, type in the word, the letters MRT, and press Enter, and a little black screen, will come up. It takes a little while, but it's Microsoft Windows Malicious Software Removal Tool. And what it'll do, if you press Next, you got an option here to do a quick scan, and Microsoft will actually go in and scan your computer to see if there's any software on your computer that's causing you to slow down and things like that. It's not meant to replace antivirus, but it'll tell you if there's something going on inside of your computer, and I found it really useful. So if you click Next, there's a quick scan here first, and you click Next, and she'll go through the entire scan and tell you if there's any bad software on your computer that's causing you issues. Now, this one will go through, will take maybe 10 minutes or so, depending on the stuff that's on your computer. Cancel. I'm going to just cancel mine. If you go Start, Run, MRT, takes a few seconds for it to come on again. Same software comes up. Choose Next, and a full scan. This one is going to take an hour or so for you to run through. Now, you can still use your computer while it's running, but it will give you a good indication of if there's any software on your computer that's causing you to slow down. And it will actually clean up some of the things that's causing you issues. It's free. You don't have to download it as long as you got your Windows updates done. And from everything that I've been reading online and stuff, it's a really useful tool to use to help clean up your computer. Different from Spybot, different from adware and everything. It's Microsoft that's going in and looking at the operating system. If you have Vistas, which a lot of people have Vista now, you go in and Start, Accessories, Command Prompt, and you can run it from there. But essentially it's MRT, so Microsoft's removal tool, right? So MRT, and that's all you have to do. Choose Next, and off you go. And hopefully they'll...
Our MHA Calvin Parsons dropped by the studio for a chat. Good evening. In our studios tonight we have our MHA, Mr. Calvin Parsons. Good evening.
Good evening. Nice to be here.
It is good to see you here again. What brings you back to Virgin now?
I came down Friday past and went to Ramy and did a clinic on Friday, Saturday, saw a few people and visited a few people in their homes, and also attended the Ramy Fireman's Ball on Saturday night. Okay. And back here for a few days, including doing a clinic here and some business we had to clue up with council.
Okay, very good. So you got any updates on our water system this time?
The latest on the water system, I understand Mayor Reid gave you a fairly detailed update some time ago on the issues we were having with the type of tank that we might ultimately use. just for backgrounder here, of course, everybody knows the water system has been approved. That's pretty well $3 million that was approved for that. But a component of that, of course, is a new tank that was required. That was 1.1 million of that. And the government engineers and the town engineers were having some issues as to what type of tank should be tendered upon, whether it was a welded tank, a metal welded tank, or a glass line tank, or a cement tank. Anyway, after a lot of debate and discussion, I believe the engineers have finally got their heads together, and we're expecting this week actually to have the final details prepared so that we can actually go to public tendering and get some quotes come in on the tanks.
Oh, that's very good then. Also, the heating rebates, I understand they've been extended?
There is, everybody's aware, there is a heating rebate program whereby you're entitled to a certain amount depending upon your income and so on. And most people, a lot of people have taken advantage of the program in the last number of years. Just a reminder to people that if you haven't already done so, the deadline for applying now for your rebate has been expanded to September the 30th this year. Okay. Not for the cost up to 30th, that's just your application. The costs are only still covered off for the period from, I believe it was back in September of '08 up to April of '09. Okay. But last year we had an issue where some people forgot about it. So the government has allowed you now to claim up to September the 30th. You can, as long as you get your claim in by the end of September this year, for that period of September '08 to April '09, you'll still be eligible to get back what you're entitled to. Okay. So it's just a reminder to people, if you need application forms, they're available at the town hall here. There's also a new energy efficiency program that the government brought in. And again, it depends upon your income level. It depends upon, excuse me, what you'd like to do. The intent, of course, is to make your home more energy efficient. So there is a new program, and I'd encourage people, you can see Blaine again at the town hall. He's been provided with copies of the information. It's on the government website as well. And you simply go in and search for home efficiency, and they can give you all the details there. And if you need and want to apply, there's an application number and the process that you go through there. So just a reminder to people again to take advantage of all these programs and at least be aware of them. You may or may not qualify, but of course until you check and see, you won't know. Yes. So I encourage people to check and see if you do qualify and if there's anything there that's of benefit for you. Also, under the new federal budget that was recently announced, there's a tax credit of up to $1,350 for home renovations that you would do in 2009. You will get a tax credit. So again, that information, you should check it out as well and be aware of it, because if you're going to do renovations anyway on your home this year, that may be an avenue for you to get some tax benefit and some tax credit for that. So I just want to remind people that that's there as well.
Okay, very good. The new ferry terminal on the government wharf, now is that working out?
Great addition. Nothing but compliments about the fact that it's there. It's a beautiful physical site. They've got the wharfinger piece looked after now, as to the tender was called and granted to have someone actually look after the building and tie the boat on and so on. The people that I've spoken to from Grey River and from Ramy are very, very pleased that they have it. They don't have to use the old porta potties anymore that were there, and they have somewhere that's decent to go to. A couple of minor issues. We had to do some further work around, there's no phone system that's there and readily accessible. Okay. And most people have cell phones today, but some people don't. So we're going to look into that situation, see if there's something we can do in terms of a phone. Maybe have Alliant or someone put a pay phone system there, or have some kind of system, even if it's only for local calls, that we can utilize there. And there's also an issue around the hours of operation of the wharfinger. Like right now, the contract was let based upon the wharfinger providing tie-up services and being available based upon the hours of operation of the ferry. And we had a situation where there was an emergency in Grey River, and the boat to Gallipoli had to go from Burgeo to Grey River for that, to deal with that emergency, which meant that the ferries were docking at hours other than the usually scheduled hours. Okay. So in that case, of course, we had to have some backup plans as to make sure that the wharfinger is available to look after the boat when she comes in on these off times. And if that emergency call means that there's going to be people waiting on the wharf again, we need to have some backup provisions for these people so that they can access the terminal building as well. So we've made a great strides in getting it. Now we just got to tinker and work out some of the little bugs that are in the system and make sure that our open hours and our operational hours and so on are what we need in order to make the system work efficiently.
Okay, very good. The Eco Ice system at the arena, any news on that yet?
Yes, it's again, as people would be aware, we announced last year that the money was granted to put an Eco Ice system. Then of course you get into the tendering process again, and you have difficulties sometimes if there's only one supplier of the system, and because government of course prefers if there's 10 suppliers and you go to tender, you get 10 different bids, and the more bids you get, generally you drive the price down. Okay. So that's better for all concerned if you get it at the best price that you can. So they had some issues in identifying what tenders were available or what contractors were available to bid on such a project, and I think they've identified a couple now at least. And I understand as of recently, the last few days, excuse me, I actually had a copy of an email that Blaine, the town manager, sent out saying that the tender package is now ready. It's gone back to the engineer, and that should be called in the very near future. I would anticipate, assuming that all the figures jive and the tenders come in as expected, it's going to take some months, but hopefully it'll be ready and operational for at least the next season that would start in the fall of this year, 2009.
Okay, very good. So is there anything else that you would like to add?
Oh, I just, that's pretty well the update for now, but I'd encourage people again that my office numbers are available, readily available. I send out Christmas cards, and most people hang on to those, and in case you need to contact me or whatever, that all the contact information is there. Feel free to call. We do have an office in both Port aux Basques and in St. John's, and albeit we don't get around that much in the winter time, that doesn't mean we're not accessible. So whether you had to do it by computer or by toll-free call, by all means, if you have an issue, feel free to give us a call, and we'll be more than pleased to look after it. That's what we're there for.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for dropping by.
No problem. Glad to be here.
This concludes our program for tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.